and in his early 40s. I was there, I visited him in London maybe 7-8 years ago. I had a business trip there, dropped him a line, and he said, okay, why not go for a beer? And in the end we had a nice dinner at his home. I made a picture with QL today to get the proof, and he's full in the music right now. He quit his job in the IT, and he's now running a website for classical music together with his friend. So I would have stories about all of them, so maybe I tell you at the dinner, not here in the session. Then what was the most prominent QL user? Maybe you heard it in the morning, it's Linus. And in his book, Just for Fun, there are about 4 pages about the QL. He wrote it maybe 10 years ago, and he didn't remember everything he done correctly. The picture he paints of the QL in the book was not the picture he painted when he was an active user. There are still some newsgroup entries by Linus Torvalds from the early 1990s when he really was an expert on QL. They can be, the links are on my website. What I wanted to show you today, and I don't have it in the presentation, I add it tomorrow. There is one piece of software, QL software of Linux, still existing. It has been discovered this summer, and it's a glitter routine to move objects on screen. It was printed in a Finnish computer magazine in 1980 something, and somehow this got to a blog somewhere, and because I have good search engineers working for me, I'm not digging all day cool stuff. I have some robots doing for me and feeding me with information. I got this blog entries, and I have the print screen of this article. I will show it tomorrow. Okay, that was just a funny story about him just for fun, and it was fun, and all he got is a lousy penguin. I have my first Linux machine since 2 years. It's a network attached storage, running since 3 years non-stop. No reboot, no firmware update, no virus. I hope so. Okay, then talking about us, community still exists. I love picture. I would propose tomorrow to make a big picture somewhere. Then we can show this in 5 years' time. Looking how we get older. Okay, and now the Mac that never was. That's the latest QL desktop, but it's a 7-year-old picture. I never had it installed. I'm not sure who installed QDT.
I have it.
Yeah, you have it with you.
Yes.
It works.
Yeah. Well,
you can show it to me.
I can show, but I don't really use it myself. So
yeah.
It works, but
okay. Give us a 30-second user experience. No, a guy called Jim Humpkins, US resident of California.
By the way, ex-Apple engineer.
Ex-Apple engineer, I wanted to say, yeah. And he moved some years ago to Toronto, working for AMD ATI now. In free time he wrote using C language, wrote a complete new GUI. And the first impression is very good, but the productivity behind is still not what we used to. Okay. And that's the link. You see, that's a MacBook G4. It's hard to see, but it's a G4, and we had the Mac together with us several years now. Okay, about this year, I will go fast. I made a thesis, 7 theses, why QL was worth it, and published them on the beginning of January. And what happened is that I got really good emails from the British press. Both did the QL and Mac in '84. And you see the problems in production. The QL was launched in January, got the review in June of a prototype. The Mac was launched in January, got a full review of a full production machine in March. And even today, if Apple announces a product, you can go next day to the store and buy it, and it works. I got my 3GS iPhone the at the telecom shop. Okay, then what they did was, that was very important this year in the April issue, we got a 2-page report on the QL. And because they had, they were suffering by the bad economy, no advertising, yet they had space to fully reprint the 8-page QL review of 1984. And because the economy was not better the month later, what they reprinted was the full 1984 Mac review. And what happened in August, they folded after 31 years. And for the Swiss one, this is like cheap. This is really the best-selling UK computer magazine. And it will come to an end because forums and blogs and so on, you don't need it anymore. Maybe you like it because you can sit in the park.
I don't have the idea that it's the case in a lot of computer magazines in Holland.
Yeah, but it changes. You see, 31 years, the generation who grew up with them is not the generation.
Yeah.
And they often have not the possibility to transit. There is no end for print media, don't say that, but the old magazines are really endangered species, I think.
That's the same in Germany too. The only magazine that's really successful is still the computer technology, the CT from the Hyde Park. Everything else, even I think computer magazine or PC professional, they are all going away. So the only one is the CT that is still, or IX. These are all from the same Hyde Park, which are still really successful, but everything else, okay. So the PC market, they are Mac magazines and things like that, but not for the PC market.
Okay, good. Then, funny story. You all know this picture of Clive, and what happened there, they had at the launch, they had plastic boxes. And, okay, there's no video footage, but most of the boxes were empty, no electronics inside. You see, to stand here and make pictures and stuff. They had at least one working machine at the launch, but it had not the original operating system. It had the other one. It had the one from the blue cards, not the pink cards, for the launch. That's funny. But look this picture and look the date. And look this picture and look the date. That's the... Now you must help me, I must read it. Who's the guy? Everybody. Ah, that's Asus. Asus, with the E. That's the CEO of Asus at the Winter CES in Las Vegas, nearly exactly 25 years later, showing a computer which could be the QL. It has the same physical size, and it's everything inside. You just need an external power supply. The only difference where the QL has the micro drives, there's a touch screen called. Okay. And it's a dual core PC, in fact, for the living room. And I'm not sure if it's already on the market, because the funny thing also, at launch they said it will take a while, 3 to 9 months, which is very uncommon today. So I'm not sure it's in the market, but the picture could be like twin brothers. Okay, so last thing about, Ruben told you about his main plane bash and how many people he got back. On January 12th, I did a lot of emails out, and what I got was a lot of traffic on my website. Normally, you see the website, and I have 2 websites. That's the one where I have the downloadable files. Whole last year, single byte per day, because there was nothing to download. And then I sent emails to news group forums and a lot of VIPs, and I got one day 150 mega, and it went up to really 338 mega of PowerPoint downloads. And the good point is that until October, 1,200 times the PowerPoint presentation you've seen before now has been downloaded. What happened? It's in the print media, more than one magazine. Daniele Terdina told me, I got more sales on QL emulator. What happened? You see, you can a little bit stimulate the work, but it takes a lot of time, and the most important thing is good tags. You must good HTML pages. It must be friendly for search engines, and not the phrase simple QL. You must add other words like Linux, Mac, and those logic in the search engine will bring it to the top. Okay, what's next here? I have two projects. One is to save. That's why Marcel is not getting it back this week. Together with Daniele, we're now on the way. We can run the blue card operating system in the emulator. So we have the pink card for years, and now we have the blue card. It works, but we have no media. The bloody thing is the only media for files of these operating systems are, guess, in which file format? No, not in the one that QL understands, in a completely different physical file format. How to bring this software out of the black box into a PC file which can be loaded by the emulator. Work in progress is write a small assembler program under this operating system to read the files. That's not a problem. Then to send them by serial port, which is a standard feature of that OS, to another device. There, take this stream, save it binary to a file, and then you have the binaries. But, you know. And the other project, mainly Daniele is on, is really making it for Mac OS X. My motivation is not for desktop, I want it on the iPhone. Not because I want to use it there, I want to see it there, to prove I have my QL on the iPhone. And if it's only to play chess, Cyan chess on the iPhone would be not that bad. Maybe you need to patch them a little bit in the chess application. No problem. Okay, for those interested in stuff which is in this session, you can follow those links. Then you get a lot of information, including the prototype sketches of the case designer. And I'm still looking for stuff. I'm looking for, about 10 years is the same list, and the only thing I got now is this one. I'm still looking for very early prototype QLs. If they are not destroyed, where are they? And I'm looking for very late, this is the, until today, the latest QL ever built in the UK. But there must be higher serial numbers. I've read about that in a magazine 20 years ago, but where are those machines? So I go in eBay, I have a robot. So every new eBay auction of a QL gets by software a question asking what is the serial number of the QL you have on auction. That's the funny thing. And I have collected only by eBay about 1,000 serial numbers. And Tony has a large database from his ex-customers. Together with that, we know there are higher machines. And there is an Arabic version of the QL. I would like to have them. Maybe only a few dozens were made. There is, I know about the Greek version. I have photos of the Greek version. But the guy from Greece, Hania, he's on QL user. He's not willing to sell. So I have these. Okay. And what's also lost, and I was in contact with Simon, the first two versions of the firmware are lost. FB and PM, nobody saved them. They're lost.